They say the mind suppresses trauma, but mine has a photographic memory for the night I became an orphan with a living brother. It was a Sunday. Rain was streaking the windows of the restaurant where Gabriel was celebrating his partnership at the law firm. I had come straight from the garage, my hands scrubbed raw but still stained with the faint scent of diesel. I had a gift for him, a restored watch that belonged to our father. Monica, draped in silk and a smirk, didn't even look at the gift. She looked at my boots. "Gabriel," she whispered, loud enough for the whole table to hear. "Did you invite the help to dinner? This place has a dress code, and your brother looks like debris." The table went silent. I looked at Gabriel, waiting for the man who once fought off 3 bullies to protect me in middle school. Instead, he let out a sharp, forced laugh. "He's just passing through, Monica. He doesn't know any better." When I confronted him outside, he didn't apologize. He swung a heavy, professional punch that sent me into the wet pavement. "You're an embarrassment, Elias," he hissed, wiping his knuckles. "Stay out of my life until you've made something of yourself." That was the last time I saw his face for 3,650 days. For the first 3 years, I was fueled by a white-hot rage. I worked 20-hour shifts. I slept on a cot in the back of a rented warehouse. But rage is a dirty fuel. It burns out fast. I realized that if I wanted to truly make something of myself, I had to stop looking back at the man who hit me and start looking at the world he was too arrogant to understand. I saw a gap in the global logistics market. The way the world moved things was clunky, and I knew how to grease the wheels. I built a software-driven shipping empire from the ground up. I was a ghost in the industry. No press releases, no LinkedIn profile, no founder titles. I moved in the shadows because I knew Gabriel's world lived on the surface. If I stayed deep, he'd never see me coming. The hardest part wasn't the work, it was the silence. Our mother passed away 4 years into the rift. I sat in the back of the church, wearing a hoodie, watching Gabriel and Monica play the part of the grieving heirs in the front row. Gabriel didn't even mention my name in the eulogy. To the world, I was already dead. While I was building a fortress, Gabriel was building a mirage. Through my corporate connections, I watched his perfect life begin to fray. Monica wasn't just an elitist, she was a vacuum. She sucked the equity out of their home, the savings out of his accounts, and the ethics out of his practice. Gabriel started taking shortcuts. High-interest loans to cover Monica's influence brand. Shady clients to cover the loans. I watched it all from my cliffside home in Big Sur. I had the power to stop it, to send an anonymous tip or a loan, but I remembered the taste of copper in my mouth. I remembered the funeral where I was a stranger. I decided to let the gravity he created do the work for me. By year 9, Gabriel was a pariah. His firm had been dissolved under a federal investigation. Monica's friends vanished the moment the champagne ran out. They were left with nothing but a mountain of debt and the realization that the debris they threw away was the only thing that had ever been solid in their lives. 7 to 10 o'clock, the arrival at the iron gates. Yesterday, the sensor on my gate buzzed. I was in my study, looking out at the Pacific. On the screen was a dented, 10-year-old sedan. Gabriel stepped out. He looked 60, though he's only 42. Monica sat in the passenger seat, her face hidden behind oversized sunglasses, trying to maintain a dignity that had long since evaporated. I didn't open the gate. I walked down the long, winding driveway to meet them. "Elias," Gabriel croaked, his hands trembling as he gripped the bars of the gate. I heard you were doing well. We've had some bad luck. A misunderstanding with the firm. We just need a few weeks to get back on our feet." I looked at Monica. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Is this the help?" I asked, echoing her words from a decade ago. She flinched. Gabriel looked like he wanted to sink into the gravel. "Please, Elias. We have nowhere else. The bank took the house this morning." I opened the gate and led them into the house. I didn't show them the master suite or the guest wing. I led them to the small, sparse room over the garage, a room that smelled of oil and work. "You can stay here," I said. "On one condition." I pulled out the old watch Gabriel had rejected 10 years ago. It was ticking perfectly. "Monica, you have to admit, to my face, that you were wrong. And Gabriel, you have to tell me why you did it. Not the social pressure excuse. The truth." Gabriel broke. He sat on the edge of the cot and wept. He admitted he was a coward. He admitted he liked feeling superior to me because it masked his own insecurities. Monica remained silent, her jaw tight. I don't want your apologies, I said, standing up. And I don't want your company. Elena, my partner, is the one who bought your house at the auction. You'll be moving back there on Monday as my tenants. You'll work for my logistics firm, starting in the warehouse. You'll wear the boots, Gabriel. You'll get the oil on your hands. And if you ever, for 1 second, treat another human being like trash, you'll be on the street. As they moved their meager bags into the room, I walked back to my terrace. Elena joined me, handing me a glass of the same bourbon I drank the night Gabriel hit me. Was it worth it? She asked. I looked at the gate, then at the ocean. Revenge isn't about making them suffer, I said. It's about making them see. Gabriel spent 10 years trying to be a king in a world made of paper. Now he's going to learn how to be a man in a world made of steel. I don't hate my brother anymore. Hate requires energy, and I've spent enough of mine on him. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I realized that the 10-year silence wasn't a punishment for me. It was a preparation. I didn't lose a brother that Sunday night. I lost a weight. And today, I finally feel light enough to fly.